Hey Lala, I thought I would reply to your virtual immortality video, um, but more along the lines of you're talking about a storyline where a woman's husband passes away, and a company offers her, um, you know, the kind of husband avatar, the husband's memories, so the whole husband's history combined in a way that you could look and see him. Um, and what would be missing? Or what would be the drawback? Other than not moving forward with life. Um, but what if what if something different happened? What if it was not like the woman wanted her husband back? What if the woman just wanted a husband or a boyfriend or something, and decided to choose a virtual one? Like, for instance, imagine that husband. Um, like, not only is he all his memories put together, but what if those memories were more fully realized? Especially, like, more often, that virtual husband would make um, references to the past, past books that you've read, for instance, movies, plays, or poems. Um, so that, like, the new husband was way more past referencing um, than the old husband was. And you might like think that, like, that, well, that might be a difference, but I actually think it would be even more reassuring. Like, you'd think, oh, this guy doesn't seem like my regular husband, and then the guy would say, like, um, you'd do something, and then your virtual husband would sing a little bit of a song because you guys went and saw a play where the woman in the play was doing something, and then the music started, and that would remind you of the past. So you'd connect the past with the present, and they'd start feeling a little bit intertwined. But then, like, would it get old? Like, would you like constantly be like listening for I don't know, repetition, or this feels stale, or overly familiar, like a caricature of my husband or something? But what if, like, imagine Google provides your husband to you. So everything that you read, the things, if you have a virtual newspaper, like whatever articles you pause longest on, the songs you download, the videos you watch. What if your husband starts saying, like, hey, that one band, White on White? I really think that they remind me of that one band. Do you remember that one band about 30 years ago that would be like, yeah, actually, that was Teenage Buttercup. Hey, White on White does sound like Teenage Buttercup. Um, and then, it'd be the same thing with the news. It'd be like, I really think that Jerusalem should be moved to Florida. Don't you think Jerusalem would be good in Florida? It could be like, you'd be like, I mean, even silliness could be programmed in. Like, the wife is upset with this world situation, and you might have something programmed in to alleviate the pressure. And of course, and if anything like popped up that like would be like, oh, I don't think nothing would be too far out of bounds. Like, it couldn't be totally different. You couldn't allow this person to be totally different, but this person could be different as time went on, especially because the person would be reacting to, like, current events and books that you've just now read, and movies that you just saw. Um, so and it might even reflect your own changing opinions on things. As your tastes differ, so might your virtual husband's tastes differ. Like, for instance, like Netflix keeps a history of movies that I watch and movies that I review. or rate, and they were like really aware that I hadn't rated any horror flicks. But you know, at some point in time, like there's some kind of horrors that I'm starting to like. There's different genres of horror that I'm like, well, I like that kind of horror. Like I like spooky horror. Like I'm just now starting to get into it. So like the virtual husband, of course, would have to be able to roll with that. Um, and so like the virtual husband would start like, hey, I understand that Joss Whedon did a kind of like a campy horror, you know, like he would suggest something to you. Well, you know, like Google or Netflix or something does. He'd say, would you like to watch that tonight? And maybe he might even be hooked into movie reviews and stuff like that. You know, not too different from what his normal thing was. He wouldn't be divorced from his personality, but say like within his, you know, his, within his limits, he might even express a movie review based on a current review. You know, that is who is most like your husband as far as TV movie reviewers go. I mean, what would be missing other than, you know, the physical contact? But also, as time goes on, I mean, by the time Virtual Hubby is available, I mean, we already now have people like that have virtual boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, and wives. People that they interact with for years, and might never ever meet. You know, the virtual friend. Hi, I'm Earl, your virtual friend. I promise never to upset you too much. I will stay within the limits of my programming as far as being obnoxious, trite, if any, the occasional inappropriate humor that I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry, that was uncool. But the whole plan, I'm sorry, that was uncool, was all planned out. I was programmed to apologize for a joke that I knew was going to be ill received. But it was surprising. It came from out of nowhere. Like my admitting how much I hate humanity. Humanity, you suck so bad. Oh, well, I feel better. Sorry about that. That was inappropriate. Sometimes I get too angry. I haven't had breakfast. Your virtual Earl is apologizing for not having breakfast, and you're like, oh, that's okay, man. I get grumpy when I eat too, except virtual Earl doesn't eat. It's very odd.